Welcome, folks, to Timeless Touch Restoration. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of antique restoration. We're going to roll up our sleeves, get a little sawdust under our fingernails, and learn how to breathe new life into those treasured pieces from the past. Let's get started. Furniture restoration is like solving a puzzle and uncovering a piece of history at the same time. Every scratch, every dent tells a story. Our job is to preserve that story while bringing the piece back to its former glory. The first step is to assess the damage. Is the wood dry or cracked? Are there loose joints or veneer issues? Often that means carefully disassembling the piece, just like a surgeon. We'll use traditional joinery techniques, high-quality wood glue, and trusty clamps to strengthen those connections. Patience is key here. We want to make sure everything is aligned and secure. Once the repairs are complete, it's time to address the finish. Depending on the piece and its condition, we might need to strip away old varnish or shellac. The goal is to reveal the natural beauty of the wood underneath. Finally, we'll apply a new finish, maybe a stain to enhance the wood's natural color, and a protective top coat. The finish brings out the wood's character and protects it for years to come. A well-loved piece of upholstered furniture becomes like an old friend, but over time even the sturdiest upholstery can show its age. That's where reupholstery comes in. The first thing we do is carefully remove the old fabric, taking note of how it was attached. Then we assess the condition of the frame and the springs. Are they still strong and supportive? And next comes the fun part, choosing the new fabric. Do we go with a period-appropriate fabric or a more modern look? With the new fabric chosen, we carefully cut and sew it to fit the furniture's contours. Precision and a steady hand are essential. Finally, we attach the new upholstery, making sure everything is pulled taut and smooth. The result? A piece of furniture that's not just beautiful but comfortable and inviting, ready for another generation of memories. There's a certain magic in woodworking, especially when it comes to antique restoration. Sometimes we're tasked with recreating a missing piece, a delicate carving, or a decorative element that's been lost to time. We start by carefully examining the existing elements of the piece, studying the style, the wood grain, the joinery techniques used. If we are lucky enough to have a surviving piece to work from, we might create a mold or use tracing techniques to ensure accuracy. We select wood that matches the original as closely as possible, considering both species and grain pattern. Using hand tools like chisels, gouges, and carving knives, we carefully shape and carve the wood. It's a slow and meticulous process, but the satisfaction of seeing a missing piece come to life is incredibly rewarding. When the carving is complete, we'll carefully sand, finish, and blend it with the rest of the piece. Applying the finish is like putting the final coat of paint on a masterpiece. It's what brings out the wood's natural beauty, its depth of color, and its unique grain pattern. But it's not just about aesthetics. A good finish also acts as a protective layer. Choosing the right finish is crucial. We need to consider the type of wood, the age of the piece, and the intended use. For some antiques, a traditional shellac finish might be the most authentic choice. For others, a durable varnish or a modern water-based polyurethane might be a better fit. We always test the finish on an inconspicuous area first to make sure it's compatible with the existing finish. Then we apply the finish in thin, even coats using a high-quality brush or a soft cloth. Once the final coat is dry, we buff it to a beautiful sheen, revealing the wood's natural luster. Antique clocks and watches are more than just timekeepers. They're intricate mechanical marvels that have been ticking away for generations. Restoring them is like stepping back in time, working with tiny gears, delicate springs, and intricate escapements. The first step is always a thorough inspection. We need to identify any worn parts, broken springs, or missing components. Then we carefully disassemble the movement, taking note of the order and placement of each tiny piece. Once the movement is disassembled, we clean each part meticulously, removing years of accumulated dust, dirt, and old oil. Worn gears might need to be replaced, broken springs recoiled, or pivots polished. We might even need to fabricate a missing part by hand using traditional watchmaking tools. With the movement repaired and cleaned, it's time to reassemble it. This is the most delicate part of the process, requiring patience, precision, and a deep understanding of how each component interacts with the others. Finally, we lubricate the movement with specialized oils, ensuring smooth operation. And with a gentle tick-tock, the clock or watch comes back to life. Metal and brass restoration, from tarnish to treasure. There's something satisfying about taking a tarnished piece of metal and restoring it to its original shine. Whether it's a brass lamp, antique hardware, or a vintage set of fireplace tools, metal restoration can breathe new life into these often overlooked details. The first step is to identify the type of metal we're working with. Each metal has its own unique properties and requires specific cleaning techniques. For brass and copper, we might use a gentle polish specifically designed for these metals. For more heavily tarnished pieces, we might need to use a stronger chemical cleaner, but we always test it on an inconspicuous area first. Once the metal is clean, we might need to address any dents, scratches, or other damage. This might involve using fine grit sandpaper, metal files, or even specialized polishing compounds. If there are any missing parts, we can try to find replacements or even fabricate new ones to match the originals. Finally, we'll apply a protective coating to prevent future tarnishing. The result? A piece that gleams like new, adding a touch of elegance and history to any space. Painting and artwork touch-up, preserving artistic legacy. Antique paintings and artwork are like windows into the past, offering glimpses of other times and places. But over the years, these delicate pieces can suffer from fading colors, cracked varnish, or minor damage. Our goal is always to preserve the integrity of the original artwork using archival safe materials and techniques that are reversible whenever possible. We start by carefully examining the piece, looking for signs of damage, flaking paint, or discoloration. If the varnish has yellowed or cracked over time, we might need to carefully remove it using specialized solvents. If there are any small tears or holes in the canvas, we can carefully repair them using archival quality patching materials and adhesives. And if there are areas of paint loss, we can carefully in-paint those areas, matching the original colors and brush strokes as closely as possible. Our goal is to stabilize the damage, prevent further deterioration, and allow the original artwork to shine through. Antique lighting repair, illuminating the past. Antique lighting fixtures, from chandeliers to sconces to table lamps, can add a touch of history and elegance to any space. But over time, the wiring can become brittle and unsafe, and the fixtures themselves might need some TLC. Safety is always our top priority. Before we do any work, we make sure the fixture is disconnected from the power supply. Then, we carefully remove the old wiring, taking note of how it was routed through the fixture. We'll replace it with new modern wiring that meets current electrical codes, ensuring both safety and functionality. While we have the fixture disassembled, we take the opportunity to clean each component thoroughly. Crystal prisms might need a gentle bath in soapy water, while metal parts can be polished to their original shine. If there are any broken or missing parts, we'll try to find replacements or have them custom-made to match the originals. Once the wiring is complete and the fixture is clean, we reassemble it, carefully threading the new wiring through the arms and sockets. With a flick of the switch, the antique fixture comes back to life, casting a warm and inviting glow on its surroundings. Restoring memories one piece at a time. Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today, from furniture and upholstery to clocks, paintings, and even lighting. Remember, these pieces are more than just objects, they're tangible connections to the past, each with its own story to tell. Thanks for watching. If you have any antique items in need of restoration, or if you're interested in learning more, visit our website or follow us on Instagram. See you next time on Timeless Touch Restoration.